All right, here we go with the design of the link pin, which is the final part of the train project. So it's the fifth and final part. So go ahead and open up your final part file on Inventor. And let's go ahead and do a sketch on the front face. Okay. And we're going to start here with a circle. We'll go ahead and lock it right under that origin because it doesn't matter. And let's give it, it's going to be a small one. And so let's go ahead and give it a diameter of a 1/16 of an inch. So if we say 1/16, make this little guy right here, and I can zoom in a little. And let's go ahead and go to 3D model and extrude it. Okay. And I'm going to just tell it to go back. It doesn't really matter, but we're going to. It's going to have a total length of 1/4 of an inch, so 0.25. And it's going to have a -1 taper angle to it. So if you go to more and say -1, then it's going to get slightly smaller as it goes back. And we'll go ahead and hit OK at that point. So this little cylinder. And zoom in a little bit. And then we go to axis. And we're going to put an axis right in the middle of this guy also, just like we did with the other part. And so it goes right through the middle. Just by clicking on it, it puts that axis right through the middle. And we're going to put a work plane. And we want a work plane that goes right through the middle of that axis. So I'm going to come over here to origin. And these are 3 default work planes. And so either of those first two would work fine. So let's choose the YZ plane. And let's go ahead and choose the axis to make sure it's going through there. And it always defaults to a 90-degree rotation. But since this is a conical shape, that's okay. And we'll just hit yes. And so now we have a work plane that goes right through it. And again, just like we did last time, I'm going to take a sketch and put it right on that work plane so that we're looking right at it. And then I'm going to right click and go to slice graphics so that we're looking at the inside of this part so I can make sure I'm designing right where I want to be designing. And we're going to use project geometry. And we're going to reactivate these edges, and really that's probably the only one we need, and we'll do this one right here. And then we're going to go to line, and from the center point we're going to come out, and then let's go ahead and restart line, and from that center point we're also going to come up this way. And we're going to connect those two endpoints with a 3-point arc. So there and there. Oops, looks like I didn't click on it the first time. Okay, and just do something like that. Now we're going to put our dimensions in. And so the height of this guy right here is going to be, let's do a 1/16 of an inch. So 0.0625 is a 16th, or you could always put in the fraction of 1/16. 0.0625 and hit OK. And then we're going to put in a dimension for this right here, which is going to be an 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.125. And we'll say OK. And then we're just going to take this arc right here, and we're going to give them a dimension of 0.15. And that looks fine. So now we're ready to revolve. So we'll go up to 3D model and choose revolve, and we're going to tell this profile, so it's already selected the profile, now it wants to know the axis, so we're going to choose this axis right here, and it's going to spin that profile around that axis to give us a nice head to this this little link pin that we're making, and we'll say OK, and there it is. So you can go ahead and choose a color, whatever color you like, save this as the link pin. And that's the last of your 5 parts. So the next step is bringing all of these into an assembly and putting them together. Now, one last thing, actually, we don't want to see the work plane, the work axis. They're rather unsightly to look at. So if we just right-click on that work axis and uncheck visibility, and right-click on that work plane and uncheck visibility, now we don't have to look at them anymore. So save it and move on to step 6.